Hello again and welcome back to my channel. I am Frances Flannery, the gut practitioner, and I am here to talk to you a little bit more today about the relevance of the chakra colors, because as we work through gut intuition and as we work through understanding aurosoma, a big part of understanding and using the bottles is understanding where they come from in terms of the links to the colors. They're linked to philosophical thinking in Hinduism, which comes from and is very commonly still associated with yoga. So aurosoma has a slightly different chakra setup, but very much based on the original, which comes from the ancient Sanskrit and is timeless. They don't really truly know the origins of the yogic poses or thinking or philosophy. They know only that it's very, very old. I like to think that it predates Atlantis and that it was an ancient knowledge lost. I'm of that imaginative and fantastical ilk. I also write fiction as well as working as a well-being practitioner. So this fascinates me, that we had a time where we lost our knowledge and then some of it survived. And I like to think that what survived was this ancient connection to the body's energetic center, and that we're becoming more connected with that information now. This is a prism, and in a prism all of the colors exist, and that's why I wanted to show it to you. So white light contains all the colors. So when you see white coming up in aurosoma, and you see these white bottles, like we looked at the earlier video, we saw Metatron had a white top fraction. That is because there's all of the colors in a white fraction. It's insight, absolute insight. It has all of the colors. So white in aurosoma is actually highly attuned. It's actually all of the colors, and that's just to show you that, a prism. So I can't see if I can make the rainbow fall on it for us so that we can just about see maybe a little prism coming from it there. But that is what white light is, all of the colors. Okay, so that's the relevance of the white in aurosoma, or the clear bottles as well. Now, if we just move on again to talk about them, we can do so. We can use these little glass balls here to talk about the relevance of the colours. So in aurosoma and in all of the colour therapies that exist, and even in the chakras, the red base chakra, that's the base. So when you're talking about your feet, your hands, when you're talking about physicalities of the gut, when you're talking about all of those things, they are base chakra. And that is to do with the red one here. So the red, when you see red colours coming up in aurosoma, you will be thinking about issues to do with the base chakra, to do with red, to do with security, to do with earth, to do with grounding. And that is where this base chakra comes. It's also to do with money. It's also to do with energy. It's also to do with anger, vitality. All of these things are like, they come together in this red colour. The next one up, and in aurosoma too, is the orange one, and the orange one is to do with vitality. Many times it's to do with shock as well. It's also to do with happiness, and it's also to do with vibrancy. So this colour comes up in aurosoma a lot. It's also to do with wisdom as well. This one here is to do with, this is the yellow, the next one up, and this is the physical body as well. So this is kind of around the belly button area. This one is to do with, in aurosoma, they talk about the golden star in the belly button area. But the yellow one in aurosoma, like in various practices and thinking, is to do with vitality, but also anxiety, nervousness. It's also to do with knowledge, and it's to do with the intellect as well. The next one up is the green one, which is to do with the heart, and the heart is a bridge, and this is very important. So in aurosoma, they've taken it to the next level. The heart is a bridge, and they've brought another chakra colour on top, at the top of the head, the magenta one, symbolising that the heart is a bridge to another higher love. So the heart can take love, as we take love always through the heart, but we can receive also higher love here from this magenta colour, and we call it in aurosoma love from above, and that's the higher one. And we're going to come back then and talk about the fascinating aspect of the heart chakra, because the heart chakra is a bridge. between the physical body and what we call the higher body. So we're going to talk about the higher body chakras in a minute. So in Urasoma and in yogic practices, the heart chakra is a bridge. It's to do with bridging between the lower body, the physical world, physical body, and the upper world, or the higher thinking chakras. And we have one here, the sort of turquoise, and we have a darker blue one, and then we have a violet one. And they are the higher body chakras. So the first one is the throat chakra, and that's to do with communication. So the green of the heart, and then above that is the throat chakra and the communication point. And then the next one is the third eye. So this sort of darker blue, I've just put a darker ball behind it because just to make it darker, but it's like a darker navy blue, and that's to do with the third eye, and it's to do with insight, sight beyond sight. You can see that in Urasoma. And then the crown chakra is the purple one, and the purple one is to do with higher enlightenment, but it can be grief, but it can also be spirituality. So there's pluses and minuses, there's positives and negatives, and that's why we need to balance them, to make sure that they are balanced. There's no right, there's no wrong. What we're aiming to do when we use the bottles is balance these chakras so that we're not, for example, with the heart, we're not loving too much and we're not loving too little. We need to give and to receive and be balanced, and that's where the idea of Kabbalah comes into it. The balancing of the body, the balancing of the energies is so very, very much the consideration. But in this Urasoma, you see that there's these stars that move, and this from the base comes up to the golden star. So we always aim for this golden star in our belly in Urasoma, and that's where the gold comes into it. The gold is at the belly as well. And then when we have also this higher one, this is the magenta of the higher love from above. So sometimes you'll see that one coming into it as well, and that's where there's a love coming in from above, or a possibility of it. In the bottles themselves, they are in fact two they're dual colored. Now these have been used by me, and these are my own bottles, and I always keep my empty bottles because I like to look back and see the journey that I have taken and what I've done and how far I've come. So I didn't keep them all, but I just keep some of them. I also don't, and like many people, I don't use them consecutively. I don't use them all the time. I use them as I can, because messages and consciousnesses come up, and it's hard to use them consecutively, because some days you need to take a little break from them, because some of the things that you're dealing with when you're healing are a lot. So these colours here, you can see that are a lot in my bottles that I have been using here, and these are the first one there on the right is actually the peace bottle. So that brings a great peace to the consciousness, and a peace to the mind, and a peace to the thought. And the second one, the one on the left, is another bottle, but this bottle has been used up by me, and it also had yellow at the top of it. So it was actually yellow top and blue on the bottom, and that was the old soul at number 47. And I have actually nearly used that. So this is what I do. I use them, work through them, and have been doing so for about 13 years. Now, if you want to see the bottles, they are available at Dublin Vitality Centre. If you want to buy them, this is what they obviously look like. They have a upper and lower fraction. So to talk about, for example, the peace bottle there, for example, that bottle that I showed you that I was using, that would have been number 2 over there. And to talk about number 47, the one where I've used it and I've taken the gold out of it, or that number 47 would actually be here. So this would have been that one that I used up. It would have had gold at the bottom, or yellow at the bottom, and blue at the top. Now you can see that if we talk about that bottle, how would you understand it? Well, if you were in with me having a reading for Urasoma, we would talk about your bottles, and we would talk about the position and we would talk about what the relevance of that is. So the lower fraction of the bottle there is your subconscious. That's what's wanting to come out and wanting to be processed by the mind, and the upper fraction is what you're conscious of. So obviously when I chose this bottle, I perhaps was conscious that I was a high thinking person. My mind was stimulated. I was well able to see, I had a good insight. My mind was attuned. But in the lower part of me, there was perhaps fear, which is what yellow connotates or implies, and I needed to work through some of that fear that was coming up. So that's what I did, and obviously I got to a stage where I was at my peak and I could communicate. And I said, as I do, I write books and I work through a lot of communication. So yes, it has taken me a while. So these are it's taken 13 years actually, to be clear, to get here. But this is how we kind of use the Orosoma bottle in terms of when we're doing a reading. Each bottle that you choose has a relevance in its position. The first is the mission. So what's in the first bottle tells you about your mission and what you're here for, like why are you consulting the bottles. Number 2 is a gift or solution. So gifts often come through challenges, so it's something you learned along the way very often. Present gives an insight into what is happening in your life right now, and the future connotates where, if you stick to this path that you're on, this lovely path usually, because when you get to use Orosoma or you come to that, you're usually in a good place, you're usually following a good path. It is very positive, it is very blessed, it is very high thinking. It's associated with high frequency angels, vibrations and concepts that are very, very, very well thought out and generally are very, very positive. You use the pomanders to protect you. When you're using Orosoma, you have pomanders that protect you. These are small bottles containing several herbs, high frequency herbs, and these are placed onto your aura. So that is a little introduction to what the colours themselves mean independently of the bottles. But when you're having an Orosoma consultation, I will read your colours for you. As I said, the white light contains all of the colours and it contains great insight. And that is the relevance of the white bottles when they come up, or the white or clear when it comes up as well. And that is just a little introduction to some of the concepts of colour in Orosoma. And it is a non-intrusive, self-selective soul therapy, and that's how it works. You select 4 bottles, and from the bottles you are given insights into what they mean. It's a lot of understanding and a lot of work that goes into studying Orosoma to get to the level of being able to be a practitioner. There are various ways of understanding it. There are various philosophies within it, or cosmologies as they're called. We have archetypal cosmologies, tarot. It's linked to all of these philosophies. So it really is a very in-depth philosophy. So if you're interested in tarot as well, you can understand it through the outward and the return journey of the major arcana. Bottles B0 79 to 99 are the returns. So B0, bottle 0 to bottle 17 as well. So a lot of information coming at you when you have your reading. But the real thing about the bottles is that when you go home, and no matter what somebody tells you they mean, or what they mean according to the books and according to the philosophies, it's only when you start to apply them yourself that you get the magic. And as I said, for many, many years, for at least I think 13, 14 years, I know I trained in it. I did some training in 2014, I think, second training in 2016, and went to Rome to finish my final training, practitioner level, this just in November. So I know that it's taken me years and years to really get to a point where I feel confident about doing the consultations and stocking it at my business, which is in Dublin Vitality Centre. But you can see that when you start to use them, you do understand it in a more three-dimensional manner. It affects your body, it causes shifts in consciousness to come up, it enlightens you, and it gives you just a really lovely peace, or a place to be, to work through very privately. on your own. And I am available to consult with you and have a reading with you if you want at my clinic, Dublin Vitality Centre. So I hope you have enjoyed this another session today about aurosoma, and I hope you've learned about the colours and about the relevance of the chakra colours, because these things really are where you will gain great understanding when you move through and do your colour consultation with me at Dublin Vitality Centre. Anyway, lovelies, I hope to see you all soon. Bye for now.